Hey up guys, what's going on? Welcome back to 2069. This is the part 2 episode for this 2069 version of the save. If you've not watched part 1 yet, the link will be down below. Do watch that bit first because there are spoilers ahead. There's sort of slight spoilers on this page if you're paying attention, so quickly watch part 1 and it'll be explained in all its glory. If you've not watched the 10 years and the 25 years yet either, check those out too. However, I'm just going to go straight ahead and delve into some of the stories we discovered last time around. Now, there is one thing I just want to have a quick look at here. First of all, this is major club section because it does change obviously every time we do this round. Last time we checked in with the 25 years, Southampton were at the very, very top of that. Not so much now. I'm just going to quickly go on the all clubs and see where we are. Now, the one thing I've just sort of casually glanced at right now is this situation here with the Argentine clubs. I'm not sure how high up they normally register. I mean, the first Brazilian one is down here, but there's two Argentinian clubs in the sort of the top bit cuts off at Liverpool, I believe it is, on the main world page. So there's two of the Argentine clubs in that top section. I'm not sure how high up they normally go in terms of world reputation, because they're obviously those Brazilian and Argentinian clubs are those ones where you typically poach the players for relatively good value for the most part. These higher ranked Argentinian clubs and Brazilian clubs sometimes not quite as value for money, but in general, that's how that normally works. Now, the main thing here is Tenerife has usurped Barcelona. I think we saw that last time around, actually. And Leipzig has usurped Bayern as the most reputable German club, despite the fact Bayern has dominated in the German league at the very least. Maybe not so much Europe, but Bayern has dominated in in their Bundesliga. So that's just a curious little thing. Southampton is still more reputable than Liverpool and Arsenal and Tottenham, teams like that. But one of the stories we want to look at here is this Grenoble one. However, I am going to go to the teams that have gone to the Premier League first of all, and just want to see where these come from. So last time round, I wasn't entirely certain where Plymouth started. That was a bit of a mistake because considering I'm doing a Bradford save right now, they're in League One as of the start of 2019. They're one of the teams that I face in that save. If you've not watched the Bradford save yet, check that out. As of recording, this episode 3 has just dropped, and that is my favourite episode to date. Some fantastic moments in that. Basically, their reference. There's moments that are going to get referenced far in the future, I feel like, is episode 3. But if you have not watched that yet, any of the Bradford save, do check that out right now as well. But as we can see here for Plymouth, a little bit of a moment here. But from this point onwards, 2052, bouncing between very much the definition of a yo-yo club. Survived 3 years here, and then not so much. Oh no, that would have been 2 seasons. That would have been 2 seasons in the Premier League, and then Championship again. 2 seasons, Championship again. 1 season, Championship again. But just re-promoted, and so very much a yo-yo club. We'll pay attention to Plymouth going forward this time around because hopefully this up and down is provide a nice amount of finances for these guys. Just say secure, but hopefully it's provided nice enough finance for these guys going forward. Now the other one we kind of want to look at is Notts County, but I will just check their managers to see if they've had any. Bearing in mind, of course, in terms of managers back here, Gary Monk, Alan McGregor, Darren Moore, names you recognise. Pietro Pellegrini feels like a name I should recognise. Yep, Monaco. So, but there's no one really at the top. And obviously, by the time we get to the top of these, it's going to be regen. Probably even regen players at this point, obviously in management. So can't really see much there. Notts County is the other one. Okay, I will just check one thing before we go on to that. That's just the general landmarks is what I need to have a look at. I just want to see if there's. So it has been a brand new takeover by a consortium. So maybe we'll see a little bit of a finance back here. Consortium isn't the most useful. Tycoon. This is the one we sort of typically see pushes from tycoons taking over. Is usually where we see massive improvements. That's what happened with Newcastle in the 25-year save. A tycoon took over and then pushed them into the Europe. Southampton was the reason for that. Tycoon took over as well. And Tycoon, they would have still been going in the as we start from 2044 onwards. So it's a little bit weird seeing Southampton slip off a little bit from that top place, but Tycoon going in there. We see them being back and forth. Nothing really much is happening. With youth and training facilities upgraded here, stadium capacity upgraded there. So there's sort of things that help with going forward. However, no real benefits happened from the money they've presumably pulled in from that. Presumably that's all gone into players at this point. We'll have a quick look actually at the players and see what kind of wages they're on. I mean, some players worth a lot of money here, so they have got a bit of decency in them. Decency, that's not the way it's done. But yeah, some big wages here as well. So you can see they're sort of bouncing up and down, attracting decent wages as well, thanks to the money in the club a little bit. So maybe they'll stay up this time with these sort of valuable players in the squad. Maybe we'll see them for a while. We'll pay attention to that going forward. Notts County is another one that's just very recently joined. Apologies for sort of teasing you with that briefly. But not quite as decent as Plymouth right now. They had a little bit later on, but just steady, basically, very steady increase in the Championship. Got promoted from 5th playoffs, got relegated, and then got promoted from 5th again to playoffs, and then actually finishing 16th this time round. Their key player is the vice captain. I just noticed that there. But they have a Brazilian manager. I think Plymouth had a Paraguayan, wasn't it? We just saw there. But we'll have a look at the landmarks again because it just say rich finances. Youth category has just been raised to Category 1, so that's good news. Category 2 literally just raised 7 years earlier, so they've Tycoon. Here we are. Tycoon has taken over in 2059, put money in building things up, youth and training facilities upgraded, youth category increased to 2, runners up in the FA Cup, we saw that there, undersoil heating installed, relegation from Premier Division, but there we are, youth and training facilities upgraded again, youth category increased to Category 1, so we're seeing the money being put into the structure of the club here as well, which is super important for staying up. That's staff, I didn't want to have a look at that. Senior squad, that's what we need to have a look, and we can see maybe actually a little bit more value in this squad. Maybe they put players in already for... We're on 30th of June, so technically the window hasn't been opened yet. So if they've got any pending transfers, they won't have actually come in as of yet. But you can see not quite as high wages. I think Plymouth had players on like 160,000. But not quite as high wages, but sort of similar value in the squad. So we'll pay attention to Notts County going forward. Pretty good for Notts County, of course. That's where the Black and White Stripes of Juventus come from, is Notts County. That's where they took their inspiration from. I believe they are the oldest standing club in the Football League at the moment. Of course, they're at the very foot of League 2 currently, so this is a massive turnaround in terms of Notts County for their fortunes currently. They're about to be relegated out of the actual Football League right now. So seeing them in the Premier League is very much a shock, and probably the biggest story so far in terms of growth. Now, there is one other thing I need to do right now. We are going to go start at the Premier Division just to show you that right now for the season that's about to be simulated. It's only really Plymouth. Oh, Portsmouth is a team I didn't even notice that got promoted there. Portsmouth back in the Premier League. Not so much of a story, but because I think they're about to get... they're in the running for being promotion back to League Championship right now. Overview, please. So, have they literally just been promoted? They have. They were 3rd. So, they spent a long time in the Championship by the looks of things. Actually got to Premier League at one point before. Didn't even notice that when I was flicking through last time round. Got relegated to the Championship at one point, straight back up again. A couple of seasons mid-table, and then promoted from 3rd, so that'll be playoffs again. But Portsmouth back in the Premier League. Didn't even notice that last time round, and now I actually get to have a proper look at that. So it looks like Sheffield United, Portsmouth, and it would have been Plymouth that have been re-promoted once again. So those are the 3 coming back, and Middlesbrough have been around for ages in this save. So, but the one thing I wanted to do here is just flick down the leagues, because whilst there may be some massive drops, massive gains, there may be some massive drops as well. So in terms of Championship, you can see Everton here. Everton have not had a good time of this. Leicester as well have spent a lot of time down here. Leeds only very recently relegated again. But you can see Southend here, their League One as things stand. I've already played them in the Bradford save, so I know they're in League One. Colchester is another one here. Now, I do believe Colchester are League 2 in the start of everything, so seeing them up in the Championship is pretty interesting. Not a lot of value in this squad, so it might just be very recent, this. Yes, actually, back-to-back promotions from League 2, weirdly enough. League 1, League 2, bouncing around, but back-to-back promotions, 2nd and 3rd. See Colchester in the Championship. I'd be very surprised if they stay up with that kind of value in their squad. It'll be a nice story to see. Maybe pay attention to Colchester going forward. Who knows? But Championship looking very, very standard. Oh, Cheltenham as well. Cheltenham, I can't remember. Are Cheltenham one of the teams that are in the Vanarama actually to start this? But they've got some decent players in there. They might be League Two. Can't remember if they're. I always get them mixed up. The teams that got in the Vanarama right now and League Two. I'm not entirely certain who the big teams are that are being relegated recently. I'm not sure if these are League Two or Vanarama at the start of 2019, start of 2018. So maybe this is a bit of a surprise seeing them in the Championship. But Cheltenham up in, and Coventry of course, but they're League One as things stand right now. They're fighting Portsmouth for promotion right now as well. Everyone else here, I think they're relegated teams or unsurprising. Relegated Premier League teams or Championship teams. Bolton managed to get back in the League One. Lincoln in League One. We saw them in Championship at some point. Forest Green down here. Not managed to recover from the 25-year save either. Carlisle promoted at one point. I think they're League Two. Exeter definitely League Two because they're fighting. They were sort of in the running with Lincoln. MK Dons too. York still up in the Football League. I think this is as far as they've got so far, so they've managed to stay up here basically. Sunderland down here, Sheffield Wednesday down here. Not a lot of surprises. Relegated Championship teams who haven't quite recovered. I think Chesterfield is the one I always get mixed up with Cheltenham for some reason. Bristol both down here now, unfortunately. But not a lot of surprise down here. Lincoln still sticking around. Hull, of course, Forest Green were in the Championship at one point, as well Lincoln, so it's sad to see them come back down again, especially Lincoln, because that's my local team. And of course, technically, they've not got any further than they have in real life right now, because confirmed champions as of right now. Proud to be a Lincoln supporter. Luton relegated, though. They're top of the League One, so bit of a surprise there. Harrogate of Vanarama, we know that much. Derby, hello. So saying we're sort of paying attention to those teams that may have had a bad time of things, Derby is one of them. Can't actually see any further than that, to be honest. It's only really Derby. At Cambridge, I don't think. I'm not sure why Cambridge are in real life. Bradford, of course, relegated in real life from League One this season, but doing a lot better in my save. I'm going to plug that so much. I do apologise. But not a lot of surprise outside of it. I know the Vanarama isn't loaded, but we can sort of see teams that are coming second and third, maybe, see if there's anything in there. We've seen Scunthorpe, but they've been re-promoted. So by this point, Fleetwood actually got relegated at one point, but they've been re-promoted since then. Can't really see a lot of teams in second and third right now. Sort of not quite getting there. No surprises of being completely relegated. If there's a team you've not really paid to Salford, of course, probably down there. If there's a team that you think you've not seen in the as I run through those, let me know. I could probably try and look into it and see where they are. But filed to be promoted though. Nice to see that. Yeah, so that's basically how that's gone. So the other teams we kind of really want to pay attention to. Now, we did look at Tenerife last time around, but you can see they've actually had an even better time of things in this 50-year save. They've got even further up in the situation. Now, you can see here, league history. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in a row. Total dominance from Tenerife, the Canary Island team, who actually start the save as Spanish second division. They got promoted in the first season in the game. They actually got relegated at one point again, but came back up to the top division and then got steadily better. They were challenging sort of the European spots in the 25-year save 2044. Well, they hadn't actually yet won a league, but now you can see they are winning the leagues. They are the top-rated team in Spain, third-rated team altogether. We can sort of have a look at their senior squad right now. We can see those wages right there off the bat. Amazing wages. This guy's only worth 14.5k to spike around those wages, but that's because he's 35. So he's just sort of on the way out. Some great names. There was a name I just saw, by the way. There was a name on that world screen. I don't know if you spotted it in the bottom right corner in the transfers. A guy called Maverick has gone to Notts County. You may have seen it on the Notts County squad page as well, but I completely glossed over that. But I saw that just before I clicked record and I forgot to mention it. But see the value in that squad right there. Pretty good going there. And we can sort of just have a look at their landmarks as well. Look at all these winners and runners up right now. Stadium capacity up to 65,000. So Tenerife now has 65,000 capacity, basically. They can fit 65,000 people in that. I'm seeing just scaling down funding right now. Club World Championship third place, but I wonder if they got taken over by another tycoon. No, they didn't. So they got taken over. Oh, they got taken by a tycoon in 2049. So this would have been after the previous video in 2044. They got taken over by another tycoon. I think it might have been 2 tycoons in a row. Yes. So this is what we saw from the because we left things off after 2029. They're only in the top division at that point, not really much to pay attention to. But Tycoon takes over in 2029. Javier Perez, I think, this is the same stadium, was just an icon. At the time, I don't know who he was. I think he might even be a manager. But then it looks like another Tycoon's taken over in 2049. So they've had lots of funding here. Lots of improvements, basically. Upgraded 2 years in a row, actually. Upgraded things in the background. Another upgraded here. And then upgraded to another upgrade for the facilities as well there as well. So scales down funding once, twice, probably on just a back row to expending, so, just in case they get in trouble, he'll provide them with money at this point. That's kind of looks like the status they're in right now. But it looks like the money's being put in right now, and they're reaping the benefits. However, it is actually the French league that has finally had some upsets, because PSG, whilst on top now, and quite a lot of it, have some other teams in their top reputable teams. I'm not sure if this page actually shows you France in general, but if we go to France in general, actually, probably the best way of doing it right now, if we just go to France as a total squad and we look at their top reputable teams, while this thinks about it, Paris, Lyon, Nimes are now third, and Grenoble are here, but with FCSM as well. Top ranked team in the world for quite a long time, first, second, and third, all doing that kind of thing. There's Maverick. He went to Notts County from Nice. Maverick Pignol. I don't know how to pronounce that properly, but that's a lot of accents in one name. Well, two. That's not a lot. Never mind. Pretend I didn't say that. But I actually presume that guy was Benigno. 32 years old. That's a lot of good. My things are on 40 minimum, so it is a little bit skewed because of the preference save, but there we are. We can have a look at Nimes real quickly as well, because they've actually won a league in recent history. I wonder if this is something to do with funding. Scales down funding, so it looks like the Jesus Elizalde. Butchered that way, but you can see the stadium capacity has gone up a few times here. Coupe de la Ligue winners, French Cup winners. So when do they win the league? Trophy de Champions winners, League One Conference champions there, after they just scaled down funding immediately afterwards. So job done, basically. Tycoon, yeah, so he took over in 2045, literally just after the previous save, actually. So that's why that's happened there for Nimes. And then the other one is still Grenoble. They dropped off a little bit in recent times. Still got some funds in there. 5'3" player. Can we have a look at the landmarks for this? A couple of consortiums have taken over. Oh, one's taken over here. So they failed in the takeover bid, and then they actually did take over. Not really got a biggest stadium. Oh, I'm actually scaled down a little bit now. Fails to take over. New chairman takes a floating on stock exchange. I have no idea where that is. I'm guessing that's low down in the rankings for funding wise. But they have upgraded things a couple of times since they've taken over, so maybe not actually. They might be better. I'm not sure what the ranking order is for this. I know Consortium is actually towards the bottom of the ranking of people taking over. Is Tycoon. Tycoon is obviously the best, but doesn't look like there's any sort of major Tycoon takeover. It's just consortiums. This is actually it's almost like genuine, not even a lot of money being pumped in for success here. So actually probably the best success story I've so far, because it's not based on pure money by the looks of things for Grenoble. FCFSM is the other one here. 5th rank now. I'm not sure. I think they might actually start in League 2 FCSM at the start of this. I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on it, but I think there might be they got the same stock exchange one here. But lots of consortiums taken over in sort of recent times. 47, 52, 56. So a bit of money being pumped into this one, and another one here as well, 2040. But yeah, a lot of that going in. Upgraded facilities again. Eurocup runners up previous year, so it looks like they're doing all right as well. So there's some of the success stories so far. There's no real point looking at the managers right now, because we are 50 years in the future. So the only people, if I go to World actually right now, if I go to World, and that's not how you do that, you fool. If I go to World and then click on managers, for instance, right now. Oh, Harry Kane is actually managing the England under-19s at the age of 75. I just say you're only really going to see the sort of the particularly younger end of players, so it's only really beneficial to click on age right now. And the very younger end of players right now, the only ones that are going to still be stuck around, because yeah, because 68 is basically the youngest, probably 66. But yeah, there's no. Emile Smith Rowe is the only other player I recognise, and he's now managing England. Can't remember where he starts, but they're the only two names I actually recognise. I don't know if these guys might even be regens. Can't really tell, they don't have faces, so I don't think they are regens. But yeah, there's not a lot you can see it. There's no real point looking at those because the only two. Harry Kane though is still around. What's he been doing since he retired? Out of curiosity, he has been England under-19s manager since 2033. That is... Sorry, I just went quiet while I did the maths. 36 years. So he was at... Wait, what happened here? Tottenham... He was at Tottenham until 2026, and then went to Man City for 3 years, and then essentially retired at Galaxy. He did a David Beckham, really, and just retired at Galaxy. LA Galaxy, and then he became England under-19s manager in 2033 and has stayed there ever since. Has preference to be a manager in his next role. I mean, this is probably part of the reason why he's not gone any further. He's not actually developed into a decent manager, weirdly, but he's been under-19s manager for 36 years. That is dedication. So, still technically classed as a Tottenham Hotspur icon. Actually, there is one thing I do want to look at. Now we're in things going forward. And I'm not sure where we look at this right now. I guess it would just be clubs list. And do I get to see stadium info? That's what I want to look at. I want to have a look at the most reputable club's stadium info, just to see who's changed their stadium so far. Old Trafford's still there. PSG are now the Luis Fernandez Stadium. I'm guessing that's a new one. I'm not sure. Javier Perez, we saw that. That must be the icon there. Camp Nou, City Mansion, Bernabeu still there. Leipzig. John Terry Park. Chelsea have named their stadium after John Terry. I feel like this is a new... Yeah, Franz Beckenbauer, 2046. That's a new stadium. It feels like... Yeah, 2039. That is a new stadium. I thought it was. Southampton is still St Mary's. Weirdly enough, they've just expanded it. Lions, Riviera... The Edin Dzeko Park for Wolfsburg. 2038. That is a new one. Hang on a second. What's happened here? How do I go on Wolfsburg right now? I want to know how he's ended up being an icon at this club. Edin Dzeko Park. Scott Dugdale. That doesn't... He's not an English player. How do I look at overview? No. Was he a manager at some point, maybe? No, player. Was he a player in their history? That doesn't help me in any way, shape, or form. What page tells me things about their icon? I suppose I can't see it. Can we see our own icons? General. It's general, isn't it? Yeah. Edin Dzeko was a player here. Was he here before he moved to Man City? Yes, he was. That's what he was. I'm not really clued in. That's what I was thinking he must have been, because obviously he started Roma at a fairly oldish age. At this point, he actually moves to Monaco and then China in this save, and then retired as a player. So they actually named their stadium after Edin Dzeko for some reason. I'm sure they've had more iconic players since then, but all right. Liverpool have actually moved out of Anfield and just named their stadium Liverpool Stadium. Way to go. Same with Brighton, I think, here, and Grenoble, and FCFSM as well. Tottenham Hotspur will be the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Vicarage Road for Watford still there. St James's Park for Newcastle still there. Molineux still. Macarena still there. London Stadium still there. Selhurst Park. We're not seeing a lot of changes, actually, stadium-wise. Weirdly enough. Still Riverside for Middlesbrough. Considering they've been in the Premier League for ages, I'm surprised they haven't actually upgraded that. San Siro is still around. Monumental David Alorano. That's a great stadium name. I'm actually slightly disappointed, if I'm completely honest. There's not a lot of stadium changes, and especially not any stadium changes for people, really. So, a bit disappointing. I think Nîmes Stadium would be a new one as well. Yeah, 2064, literally just rebuilt that. So, that's a little disappointing. We only have the John Terry Park, 80,000 capacity for Chelsea, and then the Edin Dzeko Park for Wolfsburg. And fine, I've changed those to Franz Beckenbauer as well. 103,000 capacity. Is that the biggest one now? Yeah, it is. More than Camp Nou. They're sharing that, evidently. Helio Honest Arena. That feels like it's probably a new one as well. Yeah. Wonder if that's a new player or not. I don't really know Monaco's history, if we're honest. Celtic Park is still in fashion for Celtic. Just to go on the highest ones. Highest, yeah. Kind of disappointing on that front, to be honest. But unless there's any particular stories you want me to check out. Oh, there was one more. I do apologise. Genoa was the last one. They have won things. They have won things, as you can see here. They won the league. They've been at the top. They've been a success story as well. I do apologise. I nearly forgot that. Fans of Italian football. But we can see here is actually Consortium. What on earth happened here? 13th of May 2062, Consortium takes over. 1st of June 2062, Consortium takes over. It lasted 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. That is ridiculous. But 2053, another one here, took over there. 2045 took over. So it looks like 2035 one took over as well. But it looks like pretty much since I left in 2044 and pursued this to the 50 year from the 25 one, there's been 1, 2, 3, 4 consortiums, although technically that only counts as one because it was 2 weeks apart, for Christ's sake. Baffling. But Italian Cup runners up a few times here. Maybe that improved their reputation a little bit as well. Facilities upgraded there. Facilities upgraded here as well. And champions here of Serie A. So pay attention to Genoa going forward. It is worth noting in the Bundesliga, it looks like Borussia Dortmund are the most 5th reputable, because the top 4 are now Leipzig, Bayern, Schalke and Wolfsburg. They're the top 4 clubs in Germany right now as well. So there's been a little bit of a shake-up, but it's still clubs that are near the top, that are at the top. They just rotated. So it's not really that big a difference to look at. No real stories to really look at in the Bundesliga. That's why I haven't looked at anything right so far. However, we'll see what happens in the 100-year save, because I do have that ready to go. That's the next video I will be recording. Unless there's any particular stories you want me to have a look at in this 50-year one for part 3, I may get that in time. I'll record it at the weekends and upload it on Sunday maybe. But if you want to have a look at things, a few further things, comment down below. I will have a look at what's happened for them. But unless we get enough interest, I will be doing the 100-year save. That will go live on Tuesday. Of course, the Bradford save goes live on weekdays that these experiments don't go live on, so that's Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So there'll be another episode of that on Monday, as this goes live on Thursday. I've forgotten my dates. This goes live on Friday. I will join you for the next video. Ta-ra.